This intimate connection doesn't stop. As we talk, we exchange more than ideas. We share each other's faces and the emotions they express. When it comes to faces, it seems that all the world's a stage. This pathway for communication is part of our species' evolution. It was Charles Darwin who first suggested that human facial expressions were an example of his new theory of evolution. In his book, The Expression of Emotion in Man and Animals, he argued that facial expressions are universal, that sorrow moves the same muscles everywhere, and so does joy. It was a very controversial idea. We all know how baffling it can be trying to read the faces in a foreign culture, particularly when we don't speak the language. From the look of these faces in Madagascar, you'd never guess they were at a funeral. These obvious differences led experts to believe that facial expressions are learned from culture, and that we can't understand them unless we share that culture. More than 2 decades ago, in cultures as different as Japan and the United States, Paul Ekman found evidence that expressions are indeed universal. But there were problems with his early research.
In my first wave of studies, the first series, I just worked with people in literate cultures. South America, Japan, Europe, and North America as well. But the problem was, you could always say everybody had learned these expressions from the tube or the magazine. Maybe it was John Wayne and Charlie Chaplin, not our evolution, that was responsible. So to answer that, I went in 1967, 20 years ago, to a pre-literate culture in New Guinea, a group that had not had any contact at that time with the media.
Unique film footage remains of this historic research trip. The question was, could this remote group in the highlands of Papua New Guinea identify emotions expressed on strange faces from a culture they knew absolutely nothing about? They were shown photographs of white Caucasian faces displaying 6 primary expressions: disgust, fear, sadness, surprise, joy, anger.
The first thing we did was to show them pictures and ask them to make up a story. What happened? Why is this person showing his face? And we analyzed those, and that's how we got, for example, that the best, most common story for a fear face was a wild pig is after you and you have no weapon. The best story for a sad face, the one that came up most often, was that your child had died.
Human faces speak the same language around the globe, expressing and sharing the same feelings, even the embarrassed smile of the amateur actor. Darwin, it seems, was right. Gazing across a gulf of language and culture, these faces express all the subtleties of human emotion. When we look at them, we see ourselves. We share the tentative smile, the wary stare, and the brilliant grin of joy. We also share the ability to choose which feelings to express and which to conceal.